Habits shape your life. Every choice you make, every action you take, every result you experience is a reflection of the habits you've built over time. Good habits will take you to places you never imagined. But bad habits, they can destroy everything. Bad habits drain your energy. They steal your time. They pull you away from your goals and take you down paths you never intended. And the longer they stay, the stronger they become. You may think that one day, when things get bad enough, you'll just stop. But let me tell you, bad habits don't just go away. They don't disappear with willpower alone. They're deeply ingrained, reinforced by repetition. And if you don't take control, they'll control you. The truth is, breaking bad habits isn't about simply stopping them. It's about replacing them with something better. It's about reprogramming your mind, changing your environment, and setting yourself up for success. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. If you don't take control of your habits, they will take control of you. So how do you break free? How do you stop the cycle of bad habits before they break you? There are 5 powerful strategies that will help you break those destructive behaviors and replace them with new, life-changing habits. These are not quick fixes. These are long-term solutions that will reshape your behavior, your mindset, and ultimately your future. Let's dive in and take control of our lives before bad habits take control of us. Habits 1, identify the root cause. Most people try to break a bad habit by focusing on the behavior itself. But that's like putting a Band-Aid on a broken leg. You can patch it up temporarily, but it won't fix the real issue. You have to dig deeper. The behavior you see on the surface is just a symptom of something much more profound. The real problem lies beneath, hidden in your thoughts, emotions, and triggers. You see, habits are not random. They don't just happen by accident. They form over time as a result of repeated actions driven by certain needs or desires. The real question is, what need is this habit fulfilling? What void are you trying to fill? If you don't answer this question, you'll keep repeating the cycle over and over again. Think about your bad habits. Maybe you're always procrastinating, telling yourself, I'll do it tomorrow. Or perhaps you've fallen into the trap of unhealthy eating or drinking, seeking comfort or distraction in the moment. Maybe it's negative self-talk that keeps you stuck. Each of these habits serves a purpose, even if it's not a positive one. Understanding the deeper cause behind the habit is the first step in breaking it. Take procrastination, for example. Procrastination often stems from fear. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of judgment, or even fear of the unknown. It may feel like you're just being lazy or lacking discipline, but it's much deeper than that. Your mind is protecting you from something you haven't fully processed or confronted. Identifying this root fear will give you the power to break free from the habit and find healthier ways to cope. Maybe you find yourself eating junk food when you're stressed. This could be a form of self-soothing, a way to numb the uncomfortable emotions you don't want to face. The food becomes a temporary escape, a way to quiet the chaos in your mind. But the longer you rely on food to manage your emotions, the more it reinforces the habit. You're not just breaking the act of eating, you're dealing with the stress that drives it. Once you identify the emotional root, you can begin to replace the unhealthy coping mechanism with something more constructive. Take a moment and reflect on your habits. Look beyond the actions and ask yourself why you keep repeating them. What do these behaviors say about your internal world? Are you avoiding discomfort? Are you seeking validation? Are you trying to control something you feel you can't? The answers to these questions will reveal the deeper cause. The truth is, bad habits don't form overnight. They take time to develop, usually beginning with small, seemingly harmless actions. Over time, these actions compound, reinforcing a pattern in your mind. If you're trying to break a bad habit, but you don't understand the foundation it's built upon, you're fighting an uphill battle. You need to first deconstruct the habit and get to the emotional triggers that started it. This process requires self-reflection and honesty. You have to be willing to look inward, to confront the uncomfortable emotions and beliefs that fuel your habits. When you're honest with yourself about what's truly driving your behavior, you gain clarity. And with that clarity comes the power to change. Once you've identified the root cause of your bad habit, you can begin to reframe your thinking. This isn't about simply stopping the habit. It's about replacing the underlying emotional need with something more positive. It's about rewiring your brain so that it no longer craves the negative behavior. And the key to rewiring is consistency. Change doesn't happen overnight, but by slowly shifting your response to the emotional triggers, you can begin to form healthier habits. For instance, if you procrastinate because of fear, instead of letting the fear paralyze you, you can break the task down into smaller, manageable steps. You can shift your focus from the overwhelming picture to one small task at a time. By doing so, you disarm the fear, creating a new, healthier response. Over time, this new habit will replace the procrastination, and the fear will no longer control you. The same principle applies to unhealthy eating habits. If stress is your trigger, find healthier ways to manage it. Exercise, meditation, or journaling are just a few examples of positive outlets that can replace the temporary relief food provides. As you continue to practice these new coping mechanisms, the desire to turn to food will diminish, and the healthier habit will take its place. The process of breaking bad habits isn't a one-time event. It's a journey, one that requires commitment and persistence. Understanding the root cause is just the beginning. Once you identify the triggers and emotional patterns that drive your habits, you can begin to reprogram your responses. This is where true transformation happens. Remember, the most powerful thing you can do is replace a bad habit with a good one. Habits are not just random actions. They're part of a deeper pattern that shapes your life. If you want to break a bad habit, you have to change the underlying pattern. It's not just about stopping something, it's about starting something new, something better. By identifying the root cause and addressing it head on, you can take control of your behavior and, ultimately, your future. The power to break bad habits lies within you. By understanding the deeper emotional triggers and addressing the root causes, you have the ability to change. You can stop the cycle of bad habits before they break you and instead build a life shaped by positive, life-affirming actions. Habits 2, replace the habit, don't just eliminate it. Let's face it, you can't just stop a bad habit. It's not that simple. If it were, everyone would be free from bad habits by now. The truth is, breaking a bad habit is not about eliminating it. It's about replacing it with something better. You don't just want to take away the negative behavior and leave a void. No, the key to true transformation lies in filling that space with something positive, something constructive, something that propels you forward. You see, habits are like automatic programs in your brain. When a trigger happens, your brain activates the habit to respond in a certain way. So when you try to stop a habit without replacing it, you're essentially turning off the program, but your brain still craves a response. That's why people often slip back into their old habits. The void left behind pulls them back in. You can't just say, I'm going to stop procrastinating, without having something else to put in its place. You need a new program, a new way of responding. Think about the bad habit you're trying to break. Whether it's smoking, overeating, or wasting time on social media, your brain is used to the reward that comes with that habit. The trick is, you need to create a new reward system, one that satisfies that craving in a healthier way. If you're trying to break the habit of late-night snacking, replacing it with something like drinking water or herbal tea is a great option. It's not about denying yourself, it's about shifting your focus from the destructive behavior to something that still fulfills your needs, but in a healthier way. Replacing a habit is about creating new patterns. It's about building momentum in the opposite direction. When you break a bad habit, you're essentially rewiring your brain. It's like taking a different route to work every day. At first, it feels awkward and unfamiliar, but over time, it becomes second nature. The more you replace the old behavior with a new one, the more your brain will start to recognize the new pattern as normal. This is how habits form, and this is how they break. For example, instead of reaching for that candy bar when you're feeling stressed, go for a walk, meditate, or even pick up a book. Replace the unhealthy habit with something that serves you, something that's aligned with the person you want to become. It may take time, and it may take effort, but over time, this new response will become ingrained. You will begin to associate stress with a positive action rather than with the negative habit that once controlled you. But here's the thing, you need patience. Replacing a habit doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process. Your brain has spent years associating certain triggers with certain responses. You've built a neural pathway, and to change that, you need to create a new one. It's like planting a tree. At first, you won't see much growth, but with time, consistency, and care, it will grow strong and sturdy. A powerful way to reinforce this is to surround yourself with reminders of the new habit. If you're trying to replace bad eating habits, stock your kitchen with healthy snacks. If you're trying to stop procrastinating, keep your workspace clean and organized. Create an environment that supports the habit you want to build. The less effort you have to make to engage in the new habit, the more likely you'll stick with it. There's another important point here. You must be proactive. Breaking a habit doesn't just happen when you sit back and hope it will go away. You have to actively work on replacing it. Think of it like a battle. You're in a war with your own mind. And you're not just defending yourself against the bad habit, you're going on the offense by installing a new, better habit. You need to anticipate when you might slip, and you need to be ready with your new response. Sometimes, when you start replacing a habit, you may feel resistance. Your old ways might still call to you, but remember, the key is consistency. Don't be discouraged by the setbacks. Instead, use them as opportunities to remind yourself why you're changing. Every time you replace the old behavior with the new one, you strengthen that new neural pathway and make it easier to continue. The more you practice, the stronger the new habit becomes. It's important to set yourself up for success. If you want to replace a habit, you need to make it easy to do the new behavior. Simplify the process as much as possible. Don't make the new habit harder than the old one. If you want to exercise more, lay your workout clothes out the night before. If you want to read more, keep a book by your bedside. Make the new habit the easiest choice, so you'll choose it without thinking. Also, don't underestimate the power of small wins. Replacing a bad habit doesn't require drastic changes at first. Start small. Start with one simple, manageable change. Each time you succeed, you gain momentum. These small wins add up, and before you know it, they'll lead to bigger victories. Every time you replace a bad habit with a good one, you're telling your brain, "This is who I am now." And over time, your brain will believe it. The more you replace bad habits with positive ones, the more you'll see a shift in your life. The good habits will begin to stack up one after another. It's like building a foundation for success. Each positive habit you develop becomes a cornerstone in the life you're creating. And before long, those old bad habits won't have the same hold over you. They'll become distant memories, a part of the past that no longer controls your present. In conclusion, breaking bad habits isn't just about stopping something. It's about replacing it with something better, something that aligns with the person you want to become. You don't want to create a void. You want to fill that space with positive actions that will propel you toward your goals. When you replace a bad habit with a good one, you don't just eliminate something negative, you transform your life. And that's how lasting change happens. Habits 3. Change your environment. You've heard it before. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But let's go a step further. You are also a product of your environment. Your surroundings have a profound influence on the habits you build and the behaviors you adopt. If you want to break bad habits and replace them with better ones, changing your environment is one of the most powerful strategies you can employ. Think about it. Your environment shapes the decisions you make, often without you even realizing it. The people you interact with, the places you frequent, the things you see and hear, these all play a role in your daily actions and choices. If you want to change your habits, you need to start by changing the space around you. If your environment doesn't support the habits you want to build, you'll find it incredibly difficult to stay consistent. Let's start with something simple, your physical space. If you want to eat healthier, don't keep junk food in your kitchen. If you want to be more productive, don't keep distractions like your phone or a TV within arm's reach while you work. Your environment should reflect the goals you're trying to achieve. Create an environment that makes it easier to make the right choices and harder to fall into your old habits. Think about a smoker who's trying to quit. If they're constantly around friends who smoke, if their house is filled with cigarettes and ashtrays, the chances of them quitting are slim. But if they change their environment, if they avoid places where people are smoking, if they remove the cigarettes from their house, they've already made a significant change that supports their goal of quitting. This is how powerful your environment can be in shaping your habits. It's not just about removing temptations, it's about adding things to your environment that reinforce the positive habits you want to form. If you want to read more, put books everywhere. Put them by your bedside, on your desk, in your living room. Create a space that invites learning, a space that encourages your growth. The more your environment supports your goals, the easier it will be to follow through. Let's take a moment to talk about the people you surround yourself with. They too have a profound impact on your habits. You can't expect to break a bad habit if you're constantly surrounded by people who encourage or enable that behavior. If you want to be healthier, spend time with people who prioritize fitness. If you want to be more disciplined with your time, hang around those who value time management. The energy of the people around you can either lift you up or drag you down. Choose wisely. However, I want you to understand something important here. You don't need to cut people out of your life. You don't have to abandon your old friends or family members. But what you do need to do is intentionally seek out new relationships that align with your goals. You need to surround yourself with people who are where you want to be. People who can offer you support and guidance as you change. If you hang around motivated, positive people, you will naturally adopt their mindset, and their habits will begin to influence you. Your environment isn't just about your physical space or the people you interact with. It's also about the media you consume, the books you read, the shows you watch, the music you listen to. All of this shapes your thinking and your behavior. If you want to develop better habits, start by consuming content that aligns with the person you want to become. Watch motivational videos. Read books that inspire you. Fill your mind with positive messages, and over time, you'll notice a shift in your attitude and behavior. The key here is to be intentional. You need to consciously design your environment to support your desired habits. And this doesn't just apply to physical spaces or media consumption. It also includes the routines and systems you set up for yourself. If you want to get up earlier in the morning, start by setting up everything the night before. Lay out your clothes, prepare your breakfast, and make sure your alarm is placed across the room so you have to get out of bed to turn it off. When you set up systems that support your goals, you're much more likely to follow through. There's a saying I love: success is where preparation and opportunity meet. When you prepare your environment to support the habits you want to build, you're creating the opportunity for success to occur. You're not waiting for things to change. You're taking control of your surroundings, making them work for you, not against you. But I want you to understand something. This isn't just a one-time adjustment. Changing your environment is an ongoing process. You must constantly assess whether your environment is helping or hindering your progress. Is your home conducive to relaxation, or does it feel chaotic? Is your workspace organized, or is it a mess that distracts you from your work? You must be vigilant. Let's also remember that a supportive environment doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean that everything has to be perfect all the time. Life isn't about creating a flawless environment. It's about designing a space that supports your goals, helps you grow, and gives you the tools you need to succeed. Perfection isn't the goal, progress is. Every small change you make to improve your environment is a step in the right direction. Finally, ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be? What kind of environment does that person live in? When you think about the life you want to create, think about the environment that supports it. Ask yourself, what do I need to remove? What do I need to add? Change your environment and you'll change your habits. Change your habits and you'll change your life. Your environment is either your greatest ally or your worst enemy. It can either support your journey toward greatness or drag you back into old habits. You have the power to make it work for you. Make that decision today. Set your environment up for success, and remember, success is not a destination. It's a habit. Habits 4. Build consistency through small wins. Success doesn't happen overnight. It's built one small step at a time. Many people make the mistake of focusing on large, dramatic changes when trying to break bad habits. They believe that one big action will transform everything. But that's not how it works. Real, lasting change comes from consistency. Small, deliberate actions taken every day. When you focus on small wins, you begin to build momentum. Momentum is what keeps you moving forward. It's not about perfection. It's about doing a little better today than you did yesterday. Think of it as compounding interest. The more you build, the bigger your progress becomes over time. Every small win strengthens the foundation for bigger successes down the road. Consistency is the key. But it's not just about repeating an action. It's about making that action a part of your routine, something that becomes second nature. The more you do something, the less effort it takes. The more you commit to small, consistent actions, the more your new habits will replace the old ones. You don't have to worry about the big results. The small wins will add up to big changes. Each small victory is a building block. Whether it's choosing to wake up 10 minutes earlier, skipping that second cup of coffee, or simply taking a walk instead of sitting on the couch, each win strengthens the new habit and weakens the old one. Over time, these small victories build on each other until the new habit is firmly established. In the beginning, those wins might seem insignificant. But the truth is, every step you take in the right direction makes a difference. Success is the result of many small, consistent actions, not just one or two big moves. When you focus on consistency, you'll eventually see that those little actions add up to something much bigger. The most important part of building consistency is not just doing something once, but doing it repeatedly. It's easy to start something. Many people begin with great enthusiasm. But what separates those who succeed from those who don't is the ability to stay consistent even when motivation fades. It's the daily discipline that transforms habits, not the occasional bursts of effort. One of the easiest ways to build consistency is by setting simple, achievable goals. These goals should be small enough that they don't feel overwhelming, but big enough to move you forward. For instance, instead of trying to exercise for an hour every day right away, start with 5 or 10 minutes. Gradually increase as your confidence grows. The goal is to start, not to be perfect. Celebrate those small wins. Recognizing your progress, no matter how small, helps to build confidence. Every time you achieve a small goal, acknowledge it. This helps to reinforce the new habit and makes it easier to continue. Over time, those small wins will turn into lasting changes that replace old, bad habits with new, productive ones. Keep in mind that setbacks will happen. You won't be perfect, and that's okay. The key is to keep going. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means persistence. If you miss a day or slip up, don't let it derail you. Simply get back on track and keep focusing on the next small win. As you continue building consistency, you'll notice something powerful. The more you succeed, the more natural it feels. Your new habits will start to feel automatic. The effort you once had to put into making a change will gradually fade. That's the power of consistency. Think about your progress in terms of momentum. Once you have it, it becomes easier to keep going. You start to crave the positive feelings that come with each win. And with each win, you're not just getting closer to your goal, you're becoming the person you want to be. Consistency leads to confidence, and confidence fuels even more consistency. Remember, real change doesn't come from making huge, drastic leaps. It comes from building on small wins, day after day, and keeping the momentum going. Success is predictable. It's the result of consistent effort, not luck or magic. So, commit to one small win today. Do something that moves you closer to breaking that bad habit. And tomorrow, do the same. Then repeat it. Every small win will lead you to bigger victories. And soon you'll look back and realize just how far you've come. Habits 5, be patient and persistent. In our fast-paced world, we often want quick results. We want change now, and we want to see progress immediately. But the truth is, lasting change takes time. It requires patience and, more importantly, persistence. If you want to break bad habits and replace them with good ones, you must be willing to take the long road. Patience is the ability to wait without frustration. When you are breaking bad habits, there will be times when progress seems slow. You may not see immediate results. You may feel like you're stuck in a cycle of starting and stopping. But remember this, every step you take, no matter how small, is bringing you closer to your goal. Every effort you put in counts, even if you don't see the results right away. Success is built over time. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Think about the most successful people in any field. They didn't get there by taking shortcuts. They got there because they stuck with it. They were patient in the face of challenges, persistent through setbacks, and committed to their long-term vision. When you begin to break a bad habit, you're not going to be perfect. You'll make mistakes. You'll slip up. And that's okay. What matters is that you keep going. Persistence isn't about never failing. It's about getting up every time you fall. Understand that breaking bad habits and forming new ones isn't an event. It's a process. And processes take time. There's no magic formula that will instantly change your life. It takes consistent effort over and over again. You're not going to wake up one day and find that you've completely transformed overnight. But if you continue with patience and persistence, you will look back and realize just how far you've come. You see, patience gives you the ability to stay the course when things aren't going perfectly. It keeps you grounded when things are moving slower than you'd like. Persistence is what gets you to the finish line. It's the quality that separates those who succeed from those who give up too soon. One of the most important things you can do when breaking a bad habit is to focus on the process, not just the outcome. If you're only focused on the result, it's easy to become discouraged when things don't happen as quickly as you'd like. But when you focus on the daily effort, the small, consistent actions, you'll begin to realize that every day you're getting closer to your goal, even if the results aren't immediately obvious. Patience teaches you to trust the process. Persistence pushes you to keep moving forward. Both qualities are essential. Without patience, you'll burn out. Without persistence, you'll never get to the other side of the struggle. But with both, you will reach your destination. Breaking bad habits is not an easy journey, but it is a journey worth taking. It requires self-awareness, discipline, and the ability to embrace the process even when it feels slow. The most important thing to remember is that your habits shape your future. Each small step you take toward replacing a bad habit with a good one is a victory. Every moment you choose persistence over giving up, you are winning. As you go through this process, don't expect perfection. Expect progress. And remember, success isn't about being perfect. It's about being patient, persistent, and committed to the journey. With time, small wins, and consistent effort, you will break those bad habits before they break you. Now take a moment to reflect on where you are today and where you want to be tomorrow. The choice is yours. You have the power to reshape your life, one habit at a time. Keep moving forward and trust that, with patience and persistence, you will create the future you desire. The road to lasting change isn't easy, but it is possible. And remember, the greatest victories often come from the smallest steps. So stay patient, stay persistent, and above all, keep going. Your best life is waiting for you.